Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 12 of the Daniel Dargan Podcast. And we are joined by none other than the GOAT, Mr. Helmi Dneni. Bro, welcome to the pod.
How's it going, brother?
I'm great, bro. I'm really good. I'm really good, mate. And I'm excited for this podcast today. And, bro, you're the second guest that we have on. You feeling honored, mate?
Who's the first?
My granny. So, bro, you're a close second.
I was actually going to say, why was I not first? But fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, again, with the guest episodes, especially in within the first 5 to 10, we're getting the goats on, we're getting the goats on. But I really want to get people on that inspire me. I want to get people on that have had a massive impact on my life because I personally believe that if they've had a huge impact on my life and they've helped change who I am as an individual, then I know they're gonna be able to give huge value to you. So no pressure, bro. No pressure. So if anyone doesn't know, uh, who is Helmi Dneni?
Mate, good question. I mean, I've been on a few podcasts and people ask me that. And I don't know, I find it hard to answer that question in a sense that I'm just a regular dude, mate. The regular things. But I think what people know me for is obviously on the gym scene. Um, in terms of description, I know it's a hard one. It's a hard one. I feel awkward describing it, so I don't know. I would
I think
say,
it's
go
yeah.
ahead.
I know. I think it's important to let people know as well. Firstly, that how we know each other, and then maybe that'll filter into who Helmi Dneni really is. You've
Yeah.
changed my life, mate. You've changed my life, and I'm not saying that because we're on the pod. I've told you that multiple times. So for anyone who doesn't know, Helmi is obviously a fitness coach, and I've been working with Helmi since last March. Would that be right? Yeah, last March. And I'd seen Helmi over the years as this absolutely dialed individual, someone who just has otherworldly levels of discipline. You were one of the first people that I ever seen going for sea dips in Ireland. Actually, I remember during lockdown, I was seeing videos, and I was like, "Mate, this guy's a lunatic." Remember seeing videos on your Instagram of you eating shanana, which was, I'm pretty sure that was a tortilla wrap with chicken and banana in it. You're known for how dialed you are, and you really live a different life to other people. And there was some sort of gravitas to that when it came to working with you. And when I wanted to get to the next level with my fitness and my mindset, and I wanted to really change who I was as an individual. There was that level of gravitas towards you, and you've really helped level me up. And a lot of people ask me the question, Helmi, what's helped you become the person you are? And there's been so much that's came before that as well. But I've invested in yourself and invested in you, and like we've obviously became brothers throughout that, which is class. But that's changed my life. So that was a good introduction. But I think you must be happy with that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
mate. So if anyone doesn't know, Helmi is the most dialed individual I know. And from the outside in, I'm sure a lot of people must be looking at your life thinking, this guy's not fulfilled. This guy, why is he doing this for? What do you say to those people?
Yeah. I just always agree with them and shut them up, mate. I was like 100% not fulfilled. I wish I was as fulfilled as you. Not really though. It's for me, alluding back to the original question, like who am I? It all stemmed from, I would say, a lot of my habits have came from my dad. My dad is very much, what time is it now? 11:11. He'll be sitting on the sofa right alongside watching a boxing match at the minute. Like, I can tell you his routine, mate. He's just dialed in completely. I grew up with that, so I obviously adopted that. But yeah, so um, as much as whenever people ask me when I'm so dialed in, is it enjoyable? Do you enjoy your life? Are you fulfilled? I can understand why people think like that. But on the other end, it's like, I don't know any different. I've been like this for a very long time. And it's not to say that I haven't worked hard at building new habits and building my character. I'm working through, mental challenges. I have, but I always ask myself, what else would I be doing in life? And it's the same thing as you, Daniel. It's like you're impacting a lot of people. And for people to say, do you not think you're a bit cringe, Daniel? Do you not think you're doing a bit too much? Do you not think you're right out there? You're like, what else would I be doing? Like, there's not.
Yeah.
This is just purpose. And for me, I think that from an early age, mate, growing up with a name like Helmi Dneni, I grew up in West Belfast. I went to an Irish school, mate, primary school, secondary school, speaking fluent Irish. And having my name, it was like I was always the odd one out, mate. I was very much, I don't mind saying, like I was very much that immigrant, that people were like, fuck's this dude? And I always felt different. And I think with me always feeling like I was never part of something, that's where I branched off in bodybuilding. That's where I branched off into making better decisions with food. I started to realize that I am not the same as other people. So whenever people say, are you not fulfilled? Are you not this? Are you not that? It's reaffirming me that what I'm doing, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing on it is successful. So hopefully
Could
that
I
answers.
interject? Could I interject there, bro? And again, a lot of people might be thinking, okay, well, what does this actually mean? What's different to Helmi and what fulfills him to other people's lives? So, what would you say is the disparity between your life and the typical standard of what fulfills an individual in today's society? And like, let's look at maybe even your lifestyle. Let's look at your training, your food,
Yeah.
alcohol, and the social side of it.
Yeah.
Where's the disparity? Where's the disparity between those two individuals?
So I wouldn't lead, sorry, a normal life in the sense that I can't do normal things. I can't just get up and book a holiday. Everything has to be planned. It has to be organized with my routine from food to supplements to training. We went to Poland obviously recently, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't enjoy being out of routine. Like I really didn't like that. Um, so from a food decision standpoint, that is obviously where I'm different. And just
No, so,
routine,
no sauce, bro.
zero sauce, bro. And just routine in general, it's like my life is very structured, obviously to a degree. So I don't know. I mean, for you looking in, what's the difference between me and a normal person? Very
You,
much habits, man. Habits is what I
yeah,
do on a daily
abs.
basis.
You don't drink alcohol.
No, mate, I don't drink alcohol.
You don't party.
I don't know how long it's been. It's been, I don't know, maybe 6 years or so or something like that.
Mm.
When I turned 18 though, different story, man. Different story. From 18 to like 20, I went
My
in on
my man was on the scene. West Belfast, Geordie Shore, love of it, and with no takeaways.
um I done takeaways probably. I haven't had a takeaway personally, and I don't count, but you're talking long. I'm 28, so maybe from I was like 20 or 21, so like 7, 8 years, maybe something like that. I didn't have chocolate for, I'm gonna say 8 years it was. I didn't have chocolate. And then my last coach said to me that he wanted me to have chocolate, and I just freaked out and he was like, this is part of the plan. So I had to break that record, which I wasn't really happy with, but at the same time, I understand why you're not.
And
So I
tell me,
broke that.
yeah, tell me how you had to break the record.
So I had to pretty much get 6 Kinder Buenos and slam them one after another, mate, on a platter of sushi.
Man, I love that. You told me that story in Poland. I was killing myself. So, how did you know you were on the wrong path? Because growing up, and I'm sure you grew up in West Belfast, right?
Yeah,
Yes. So, growing up in West Belfast, as you said, you were, seen as that immigrant, as you said, man. Your words, not mine, bro. Uh, you were seen as that immigrant. You were maybe seen as an outlier from the get go, and you know do you think that was part of why that led you down a path of continuing to be an outlier or continuing to be unique who you are? And I suppose when we grew up, we always want to fit in, but as we get older and as we become confident and really sure of ourselves, we're actually happy to stand on our own 2 feet and be unique and be an outlier. So why did the typical well, obviously the typical ideal life, it just wasn't fulfilling you, but how did you know you were on the wrong path?
Um, Good question. I mean, I feel that when whenever you say wrong path, what do you mean by that in terms of what exactly?
So when you were living the typical 18-year-old
Right, right.
lifestyle, how did you know this isn't for me? And then how did you know what was the
Yeah.
right one? So yeah, how did you know it was the wrong path for you in the onset?
I was living in that, and I know there's a lot of people that be able to relate with this. I'm in my head innately, I knew that I had the ability to do something great. And when I say do something great, what I meant was actually build a physique. I started shooting when I was 16. I failed miserably at my diet, like so bad. Like I always generally eat well because of my dad's habits. You know, an average dinner would have been chicken and rice, raw red onion, no messing around. I had that, but from 16 to like 19, 20, it was just, I kept feeling, I kept feeling, I kept feeling, I kept feeling. And it literally got to a point that I just didn't want to live with myself anymore. And I'm not saying, I'm not putting a suicide card, but it got to a point where I looked at myself in the mirror and I just said to myself, dude, you've been telling yourself that you're different. Or is it? Like, or is it? It's time that you need to start proving it. And it was at that point I made a commitment to myself. I said, I'm never going back. That's it. Once I put a habit in place, I have to honor that habit. And I would say that definitely changed it for me. It's weird, Daniel, because when I was going out drinking, when my friends were asking me to go out drinking and I told them I'm not going out drinking and I give in, it's just that feeling of I'm letting myself down massively. Um, and I don't think that I could have continued going out drinking, eating takeaways, just being the person that I know I wasn't. I couldn't have continued on that path because as time went on, I was actually losing faith in myself. I'm losing that I'm different mindset. So yeah, and when I say I'm different, by the way, what I meant was that I can do better. Like I can do better. Um,
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that think that as well. I mean, a lot of people that they have something in them where they believe I'm capable of more, and they're living a life right now that isn't fulfilling them. And maybe for a lot of people, that's going out every single weekend drinking. Maybe it's consuming food which they know isn't serving them. Maybe they're in a career which they don't love. And even though that's causing them pain right now, on the other side of that, the solution to them looks like a really lonely road to walk down. And you said something, Helmi, to achieve something truly great and meaningful, you have to understand that not everyone will feel the same way. This is why going through lonely periods are absolutely key. Do not succumb to the emotion. You have to work through these periods. And what's your thoughts on that? I would love you to expand on that a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like reading that, I miss those days. It comes to a part where I wasn't even 20, I was a little bit younger because I done my first show when I was 19. So I was pretty committed around 19 or when it was around 19. But when you're in that position where you branch off from your friends, you're not going out, you're not drinking alcohol, you're not going out for food, you're starting to go off and do your own thing. That grey space, I was constantly saying to myself, is it worth it? I'm sitting in on a Saturday night looking at my friends' Snapchats. They're having a great time at after parties. I'm sitting literally finding it hard to sleep because I'm thinking to myself, am I making the wrong decision? And I don't think I actually put it out ever before, but the amount of nights that I spent literally saying to myself, I hate who I am. I am a loner. Is this going to pay off? You know, and it's that grey space that looking back now, if I wasn't headstrong, then I obviously wouldn't be in the position that I'm in. But I think that grey space is what kills so many people's confidence and ability to actually move away from doing their day-to-day shit that they don't enjoy, job, food decisions, everything like that. If we were guaranteed that it's all going to work out, then every single person would be leading, an incredible life. So the main thing is that for me to stay in that grey space, the grey space that I was in, the only reason why it has currency is because I wasn't guaranteed for it to pay off. And I think that's the main thing. Looking back, as much as I hated being lonely, as much as I hated, labeling myself a loner, like it's whenever you're 19, 20 years of age and you're in the house on a Saturday night and your friends are out, it's not cool. You know, it's like that's that's
Yeah,
a bit
yeah,
embarrassing.
absolutely. But I'm honestly, I'm a big believer in that as well. And I look at the periods of growth that I've gone through, and they were, prior to that, periods of loneliness, and that for me again, that was looking at the Snapchats, seeing the Instagrams of people out on a Saturday and a Friday night, people saying, "Mate, come on, you're being extreme." And I'm sure you've got that beforehand because you're at a different level to that. But I'm sure as you were 18, 19, 20 going through that, it must have felt the same, that level of loneliness. And the question, that little voice in your head was probably quite loud back in the day, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was, as much as I was being my hero, I was also my own worst enemy simultaneously. And it got to a point where, I pushed my friends away that they didn't bring me to go out anymore because I was true to my word and they knew that I wasn't going to work. And then my family got to the point where, I started to leave Sunday dinners and everything like that. And there was a little bit of resentment there. But again, guys, the loneliness, I just looked at it as I was just going through the levels. I was working through the levels. I was actually, it got to a point, it was a bit sadistic. I was saying to myself, how can I push every single person away to make this harder? I know that sounds a wee bit crazy, but that's where my thinking was because I have been so sick of being on the other end. I was just constantly giving in, being normal. I just wanted to achieve something that I was genuinely proud of.
Of that, man. And where do most people go wrong in their fitness journey? Where are people typically going wrong in
In the
fitness?
what level?
A lot of guys, a lot of females, they know they've got more in the tank.
Yeah.
They don't have the motivation to get there. I hear that all the time. I'm sure that you're the same, brother. They don't have the motivation. Life's busy. They've got commitments which they believe are the reason
Yeah.
why they can't go all in on that. What would you say to those individuals that don't have the motivation to go to the gym, but they know they've got something more in them?
If you have to question a position where you're not in life, you're overthinking. If you're overthinking, then what you want, what you're telling yourself you want, you don't truly want it because you wouldn't be speaking about it, you would be doing it. So
Mm.
need to let go of fantasy and get more realistic. I find what you're talking about is a lot of people, even with us now, we think that we want to be in a certain position in life. If you're not doing anything to bring you towards that, then you need to let it go and you need to go back to the drawing board. So I think don't overwhelm yourself by telling yourself you need to be in a certain position where you want to be in a certain position without actually backing it up with any action at all. So get more realistic and put goals in place that are actually more achievable as opposed to keeping yourself stuck because the goal that you want is too extraordinary.
What would you say to those people that have their friends or have family members that maybe sabotage those goals? A lot of people set out in that journey to improve themselves, to better themselves. And, sometimes the sabotage, it's, they don't do it intentionally, but for me, when I was going through my first photo shoot, I had friends, I had family again say, "You're extreme. Go on. It's just an Indian. It's just one Chinese. You're being too extreme." And I built up I almost built up a resentment towards those people. How did you go through that journey of improving yourself without that level of resentment?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a story about it. It's quite funny. Um, when I started out, I don't know why, but it was like I'd done a photo shoot. After a photo shoot, I'd done a show, and then after the show, I wanted to do my second show. I wanted to do my third show. I was just constantly on or off, and my family couldn't really, not that they couldn't adjust to it, but they didn't know if I was coming or going. Well, Helmi, you bulking this week? Are you cutting? Like, what are you doing, sort of thing. So I said to my family, listen, I don't want you eating any food around me because it's actually going to tempt me to eat food. And this is in the process of doing a photo shoot.
Yeah.
I was quite lean, and they were like, right, okay, we'll not eat in the same room as you. And I was like, right, fine. And then the following week, literally the following week, I hear like like them Malteser sweets, like the wrapper. I hear the wrapper rustling under a blanket, and I'm like, And like honestly, I remember clear as day. I jumped up from the sofa. I went, "Are you serious? What are you doing hiding food?" But that's literally what I said. What are you doing hiding food from me? You can eat it. You don't have to be so discreet about it. And my sister just looked at my dad and said, "He said last week not to eat in the same room as him. What's going on?" And as funny as it is, at that point I realized, right, Helmi, you're Jekyll and Hyde here. You're going a little bit psycho, bro. So I started to change my mindset in the sense that they had people that were, trying to perceivably sabotage my goals. They were just testers, and we always have testers. Then mates, do you want to go on the alcohol? That's a test. So I started to look at it as you don't want to see me do better, but realistically, people don't do it out of spite. People do it because they just know you for who you are, and it's part of your identity. You're Daniel who goes to Nando's with Helmi on Friday night. We're always going to do that. But if you start, your journey for a photo shoot, you can't go to Nando's anymore. You're no longer Daniel who goes to Nando's, which means I'm starting to perceive you differently. So I need to start treating you differently. People don't understand that in the early stages, so you can't hold resent towards them. And that's one thing that I learned. The more you back your word, the more people will respect it. So instead of looking at these people as I resent you, look at them as thank you, I love you. You're helping me out massively because you're testing me. And the only thing you're doing is you're just helping me get them a goal quicker. Because without any tests, there's no currency because the journey has to be challenging. And they're helping you by giving you challenges. They're actually helping you.
What's your relationship with doing hard things? I look from an outside in perspective prior to working with you even a couple of years ago, and I thought this guy's just putting himself through the ringer. And now we know that's what fulfills you. And when you come across hardship in your life, how do you perceive it?
Um,
Voluntary hardship and involuntary.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get the hardship that I got from Wim Hof. This is the hardest thing I've done in my life.
That's a
Down the road. With hardship, I mean, I know it's going to sound a little bit corny here, but I don't know any different. I don't know any different. As in, I connotate hardship with my identity. We coincide one another. The past 6 months I've been injured and I haven't been able to go as hardcore as I want. And I'll be honest with you, like I felt it mentally. I have felt like I've lost a bit of myself.
Talk
Because
to me
I
more
haven't.
about that.
What's that?
Talk to me a little more about that. In what way?
Yeah, like, a big part of my coaching business is I have to be in a position to obviously tell my clients to do something. And when I'm not able to push to the level that I want to, I feel like I'm being a massive fraud, even though I know that I'm injured. It's just a part of me that I just felt like I lost a part of myself. Like I'm put on this earth to do this one thing, and the driving vehicle is obviously me, myself. There's a little bit of a roadblock of me fulfilling exactly what I need to do. And I feel like I'm not, I couldn't fully immerse myself in the process, which is obviously affecting, what would we say, affecting my
Yeah,
mindset and how I coach. Um,
absolutely. I mean,
so
yeah, I love that. And one thing which I've always noticed about you, mate, is that you're almost running towards that hardship. And we spoke about that. We spoke about that beforehand. That sometimes we can actually just self-sabotage
yeah,
to run towards that hardship as well. Like certain individuals when life is plain sailing, we need that hardship to have that villain arc. It's like there's a big reason why when people go through a breakup,
yeah,
begin the shape of their lives after. Why do you think that
yeah.
is?
I mean, I think, there's, if you stay within hardship for too long, you will burn out. But if you stay, within your comfort zone for too long, then you'll just die of gluttony. I think, I don't want to say that there's a balance, but there's definitely periods going through hardship is just character building. If you want to go through different levels in life, you do have to go through hardship. So I think, I think for me, Daniel, it's just, this is life is just a game of unlocking new levels of character. And that's literally it. And I've found that my food and my training is what allows me to unlock them levels. So when I'm looking at challenging times, I'm just looking at it as opportunity to actually scale and I suppose unlock that new level of character.
I rate that. Don't spend time depreciating other people in order for me to appreciate. Habits to achieve your goals. That was one of them. And one thing that I always perceive about you is, you don't talk shit about other people.
Yeah, 100%.
Why is that? Why is that one habit which is instrumental in achieving your goals?
Simply because, with example, Tony going viral, um, your page blown up, the people that actually chat shit about you guys, it's just dead energy, mate. The same amount of energy that is required to hate on you guys, it just it's just not something that I keep within. And it's not because I'm an angel, I'm a saint, and I'm a great person. It's just a standard that I don't have about me. I look at other people doing it and I look at them and I say, they aren't happy with themselves. And I know they're not happy with themselves if they're talking about other people. So for me, if I'm genuinely content within myself, if someone does something wrong, it's not up to me to judge them. And also, I don't want to spend the time speaking about someone's wrongdoings because it doesn't actually benefit my life in any way at all. So it's a no-brainer. It's a standard, and drama is a mindset. I know you know this. Drama is a mindset. People get caught up on it, and the longer you get caught up on it, the more time you're wasting. And appreciate it. That's it.
How do people live a happier life? A lot of people would ask me the question, I want to be more positive. What would your advice be to those people?
Spend less time consuming what other people are doing in life, and spend more time based on how you want to live your life. As in, I'm not talking about law of attraction, but I'm talking about day-to-day action steps. Make sure you're putting more energy into creating a better future for yourself through your actions as opposed to consuming other people's, what would you say, the pinnacle of their career.
Mm. Um, could that be, from a practical sense, muting people's on Instagram, having a social media detox? Is that what you're talking about? And not following these individuals. And if you're looking at other people and you're not taking inspiration from them, you're actually comparing and maybe putting yourself down as a result of that. And you know,
Yeah, yeah.
for me, I was definitely in that position before. Would that be your advice, to don't follow these people or unfollow these people?
There's two ways, and I prefer way one, but the first way is it's how you perceive the content that you're consuming. So I go online and I see someone doing something brilliant, right? Something that I want to achieve. I'll look at that and it'll give me it'll reinforce that that is achievable, that is possible. And I'm like, that's incredible. Someone else will look at it and be reminded of where they're not in life.
Mm.
So it's a change of perception. It's how you perceive the situation. The people that look at these things and actually depreciate themselves as a person, they will go on social media detoxes. They will block the person. They will do whatever. But I would rather look at the situation, not hide from it, because it's always going to smack you in the face. If it's not on Instagram, it's going to be your neighbor, something to your neighbor or whatever. You're always going to be reminded. So instead of trying to run away from something that is unavoidable, change how you view it. That's what helps me personally.
Absolutely, your perception is everything, and in a thought generated world, I've come to realize that there's an infinite ability to reframe every single situation, and how you view it is how you feel it. Talk to me about Wim Hof. What was the consensus at the end of Wim Hof? Well, what did you want to get out of Wim Hof? Because initially there was a group of there was me, there was Wolfie, McKenna, Mountain
My
Goat, Mountain Goat McD, big love, big up McD, and then you had joined, you and Al Berkey had joined on afterwards. What did you want to get out of Wim Hof?
Honestly, Nate, I wanted that. What I was talking about, I wanted that. I wanted to unlock a new level of character. When it came to mental tenacity, I, that's all that I wanted. I wanted to. I just want to be faced with that conversation inside my head. How many are you who you believe you are through an external challenge? And I think with obviously having you guys there, it definitely added the pressure in terms of, and the thing is as well, it's like that's where you ask the question: are you doing things for you, or are you doing it for other people? But I don't think you can deny your reality. If the lads are all there, it is going to push you on a little bit more, and it is going to add that little bit more pressure. But yeah, it was literally to unlock a new level within the mindset on it. I think we all booked for the same thing. It was I booked a ticket to hell. I thought I was going to hell, and that was it. Like, I want to go to hell. Give me it. And that's literally it, isn't it?
Bro, yeah. And so you booked the ticket to hell, and say you rock up, and that's what you find.
Yeah.
Who are you off the back of that?
If I was to go to hell,
Yeah.
I I would say that I would have settled a voice inside my head.
That says
Yeah.
what?
So, for example, if I went to hell and it completely broke me, it would have made me realize what I'm actually not capable of. So it would have humbled me in a sense and created a hunger drive to obviously achieve more.
And what was the
So
most challenging part of that? If we had to look at Wim Hof on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the most difficult thing that you've ever done in your life to zero, wee buns, where are we putting it? Or are you
uh,
putting it?
listen, Wim Hof was a circus. It was a funny retreat. It was bitter. Like, to put it in perspective, there was a guy that was there to improve his ping pong. It wasn't what I signed up for. It wasn't though. Like, he was. So it's on on the scale, we're talking sub 10. It wasn't what I signed up for. And I'm not joking. I went to five-a-side football last week, and first time, and I mean this when I said we started at 7. I looked at my watch. It was 19:33, and I said to myself, "Holy shit, this is harder than Wim Hof." Yeah,
Uh,
I was on my knees, nearly being sick. I was like, "This is harder than Wim Hof." And I was saying to Daniel last week about going and doing like Navy SEAL training, and I'm bloody gas 33 minutes from the fire side.
oh man, hilarious. So I think if we had to look at Wim Hof, I was the exact same. I wanted to go to war and I wanted to get to that position where I was externally challenged, and that's what I've been running towards for maybe the past 12 months. On that journey of self-improvement from back when I was 20 years old in a really, really low place. I think it's just proven to myself, continually reiterating that I'm not there and I'm that part that life is no longer part of me. And the more challenging things that I expose myself to, the more that reaffirms that identity. If you had to be challenged, if you had to go to hell, out of anything that we done at Wim Hof, what would that have looked like? I mean, for me, if we done those ice baths, so for anyone that doesn't know, Wim Hof, just in case anybody hasn't, and I mean, how dare you for a start, in case you haven't been keeping up with the IG, we went to Wim Hof, which is it was an expedition out in Poland. It was 7 days in the mountains, and we thought we were going to war. It was nothing. It was nothing of the sort, if I'm being very honest. And it was ice baths. We climbed the mountain. We climbed half a mountain, and it wasn't challenging. It absolutely wasn't. But we had done a lot of prep for that, and would it be fair to say there was parts of the prep that were,
Absolutely.
more harder? Would that be fair to say?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Challenging?
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely.
I'd say on one of those. So one of those days, for anyone that doesn't hasn't seen the IG, we done. Well, it was ice baths to failure. So you were in a different group to me. So you were in a group with who? Berkey and Wolfie, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
take the people through that.
Um, it was something like you would have get in for 1 minute and then you would have got out and done a horse dance, which is basic. Can you curse on this?
Mate, curse all you want, bro.
Yeah. You would have got out and just they would have made a cunt out of you, put you in like a weird position and move your hands around. Um, so you would have done that for like a minute, and then you were basically supersetting an ice bath and twiddling your arms about like a cunt. So that would have been supersetted, and they would have done like a minute, 3 minutes, and then like 5 minutes, and that was it. It was just that was their hardest thing that they could throw at us. But the lads were too seasoned for that stuff. It was like honestly, I sound like I'm doing the big shot here, being like it was pathetic. Like it was I
No,
would
no,
say
I get, I know, I'm with you.
yeah, it was a granny retreat. That's all it was. So
Yeah, no, no, no. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I don't want you to come on here and not tell your truth, bro. So where would you have broke? Like, let's look at a hypothetical situation. We go in ice bath, still failure. How long are you standing there for? Like you, Berkey, Wolfie, who's coming
I
out alive there? Like I mean, if I had to look at it, that's what Tony and I were talking about the other day. If you were in that ice bath, someone's dying. Someone's
uh,
not coming out alive. Like,
honestly, I wouldn't have. I don't mind saying I'm lost out. Like it's no disrespect to anyone else, but I'm not jumping out and walking out of that. Like it would have to be trailed out if that came to it.
would if there was part of you which thought, this is dangerous. I might lose my life here. What happened? What card do you play?
That's the part that I don't like about myself because I would be willing to die, not for the Wim Hof event, but I would be willing to die in honor and doing what I love.
Wow. And is
Yeah,
that the same for your training? That's the same for anything that you do in your life. You'd be willing to lay your life down to reaffirm that identity. Would that be fair to say?
100%. When I'm squatting, I dropped 220 on Tuesday there, and I would rather I would rather 220 crush me than putting it too early because I didn't feel up to it. It's there's a fine line between being an idiot and just having a deep desire to do better. And for me, I've already I'm just so sure in my head of what I'm on this earth to do, and it is obviously extreme measures that you have to take, but I'll die by the sword. I'm not just saying it because it sounds good, but if I don't die by the sword, what am I going to do? I'm going to continue just living a lie to myself. There's that is not life. If you're constantly getting up and lying to yourself and telling yourself, you're going to do these things and you're just constantly lying, you're not living. You're just, well, you are living, but you're just living a nightmare.
You are soon to become a father.
Yes, man.
Congratulations, mate. Congratulations.
Thank
How do you
you.
feel about that?
I don't know, mate. I don't know if it's me or just a guy thing, but it just doesn't feel. I don't feel anything. People are like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, I mean, chest is a bit sore from pressing yesterday, but I don't feel I'm different at all. Um, yeah,
A lot of
it's
a lot of people from the outside in are probably looking on, wondering what's gonna happen to Helmi Dneni when the wee one comes along. Is he gonna change? What do you say to
yeah,
those people? What do you think about that? Like, have you navigated those thoughts?
yeah. Like people, when I put it up, yourself when you have randomers on Instagram, people message me and they're saying things like, "Oh, you really know who you are whenever you have kids," and say goodbye to your morning routines, and yeah, it'll be soon enough. So you'll have a dad bod, and all these things, and I'll never entertain it and reply, with like, "Who are you talking to?" Or I'll just like, laugh and be like, "Yeah, 100%, can't wait, dad bod and whatever." I mean, for me, I'm just looking at it as it's going to be an extra responsibility. Um, if anything, it's just going to tighten the structure even more. That's literally it. It's going to actually help complement my life. Um,
Do you think you'll live this life for the rest of your days?
in what way?
The regiment, the structure, the discipline. Do you foresee Helmi at 70 living the life that he's living now? Like, is Helmi at 70 still got that dog? Is what I'm asking.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Have you thought about that?
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Um, in terms of like bringing my war, out with me and everything like that, there is going to obviously come a point where my physique itself is going to have to go on the back burner, for age reasons. But in terms of my habits, discipline, everything like that, no, it's identity. My dad is, I'll not disclose his age, but he's old enough, he's getting on, and routine, his routine's the same. It hasn't, if anything, as my dad's got older, his routine's actually got better. So yeah, mate, it's going to be the same. It's basically asking someone the question of, well, do you want to remain mentally sane as you get older, or do you want to lose your sanity?
Yeah, absolutely. And Wolfie and I were talking about that yesterday, getting older and, being able to maintain that identity and actually continuing to push on with that. And, I see a lot of older men. When I say older, I don't actually mean old, middle age. And they use the fact that they're busy or that they've kids or that they are now in their 30s, 40s plus to not push physique, to not look and feel the best that they can. What do you
Yeah.
say to those people that feel like I'm no longer in my 20s, it, it's all right. It's okay to not be the best version of me. What do you say to those people? Because I don't think that's ever going to change in you. That's deep rooted in who you are. And that's one thing that I wanted a piece of. Why is he the way he is? And how can I be like that? How can I be so sure of who I am and feel like I can run through a brick wall to get it, whatever it is that I want? And people will be listening, thinking, like, what is the secret? What is the secret? And I speak to a lot of guys, middle age as well, that are going through the crazy careers, they have families. What's the secret?
Absolutely. I would say, as you're saying that, I'm already thinking, I'm like, whatever happens in your life, it's a difference between looking at it as on the way and in the way. Um, in terms of that mindset, how can you teach someone to perceive a situation that they believe as an obstacle as actual opportunity?
Mm.
It's like, how can you how can you get someone to think more positively? It's very simple. It's if you can see yourself progressing as a person, you're more susceptible to change your outlook on the events that happen to you in life.
You said
Again,
yeah, you said I believe people spend more time complaining than working. That is a problem. You don't let problems get in the way of you and your training. So no matter what curveballs get thrown your way, and I think we can apply this to absolutely anything that, life will throw curveballs your way, but it's how we react and how we respond to them that really shapes us as an individual. And we could argue as well that, that's what actually matters more than ever is that when there's the curveballs thrown your way.
absolutely. It's just, curveballs are just testers for me anyways. I look at it as, um, you're just about to step up to the podium. You know, if just a challenge thrown at you, where are you coming? It's just that simple. It's so simple that I don't know how to explain it in a sense that I feel like I should be explaining it in an elaborate way. If a challenge comes into my life and it's between that challenge, great example, if you have a partner who isn't happy with your habits and wants to change you and micromanage you and change 2 hours a person, it's like eliminate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get, yeah, yeah. If it's not conducive to where you want to go, gonzo, as you would say.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that you've done for me, Helmi, is, I remember last year and people laugh outside looking in, and if you're not in that world, or they will definitely think it's crazy. They absolutely think it's crazy. Do you remember last year when I was going off plan and I was having a bowl of Cocoa Pops in the evening, and again, we had that we had communication about that. I spoke to you and I told you, listen, mate, like I was, for anyone who doesn't know, I was dieting very hard last year, and I don't even think I was at the stage where I was that deep into the cut yet, to be honest, mate. And I was I was going out on Cocoa Pops in the evening, and I told you about that, and it was not on my plan. It was not conducive to where I was going, and what the biggest thing, you didn't rinse me. I thought, because I'd been on the money, well, relatively on the money from day dot, and I wanted to see how you respond. Honestly, I wanted you to rinse me, and you didn't. But what you did do, you asked me to write 50 reasons why I do what I do, and you told me that that's something that you have in your notes. Why you do what you do, why you show up for yourself every day, why you train the way you train, why you're on the mission to improve the lives of other people. And you asked me a question. Why do you do what you do, Daniel? Why are you on this journey? And I think it's a good question for anybody listening. Why do you want to change? Why are you on this journey in the first place? Because if you don't know why you're on this journey, you don't have a North Star, you don't know if the habits or the behaviors that you have in place are conducive to where you want to go, because you don't know where you want to go and why you want to do it. And as you'd said, there needs to be an overarching emotion than the one you currently feel in that moment, an overarching emotion of perseverance than the pain that you feel sticking to that habit. And that changed my life, mate.
Yeah.
That changed my life. So talk to me about that. How did you, well, firstly, when did you first do that yourself, and what benefit
Yeah.
did that
Also,
bring you? Because that changed my
um,
life, mate. That alone changed my life, because I went deep.
yeah, yeah. Well, it obviously worked. Um, so I was assessing my day for, say, I don't know, maybe I was on day, say, 273, and I was giving myself tasks to do in a day, and I was coming to the end of the day and I wasn't getting them done. And I was annoyed at myself every single time. So I set out, say, 7 tasks to do in a day, wasn't getting them done. And I was like, right, there's something going on here, because I'm writing down the literal blueprint of what I need to do on a daily basis in order for me to get to where I desire to be. It's so fucking simple that I was getting annoyed with myself. Why am I not doing it? And then I look back and I'm like, what did I do? Like, if I didn't do them 7 tasks, what did it do? Like, it's pathetic. And I got to the point where I was so annoyed with myself that I said to myself, right, I need to unclutter, declutter, whatever you want to call it. And I pretty much just start writing down, why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the greater, purpose? What is the greater mission? Because in order for me to achieve what I want to achieve, I can't rely on my current emotional standpoint. So I knew that I had to go into the vision section of my brain. So actually writing that was when I started to write, a few things. I said I'll do 10. Once I done 10, I end up doing 20. Turns out I have 100 reasons to do what I'm doing. Um, and for me, what I realized was that it wasn't about how I felt circumstantially or emotionally. There was a greater cause. It wasn't just helping me, what I was doing on a daily basis. It was helping my family. It was helping the people on Instagram that were seeing my stuff, because it was inspiring them. They could be fathers, which was leaking down in their family. You know, it had an impact on something that is actually greater than me. Um, and as I said, the reason why I done that was because I kept feeling I'd put tasks in place that I believe weren't meaningful enough. But the reality was that I was just caught up with all the bullshit in my life, that deep down I lost a reason as to why I should be doing what I am doing, what I set in place. Sorry. So went into the subconscious and actually pulled it out and realized, you're not just doing these 7 tasks on a daily basis to do 7 tasks. You're doing them because it's going to have this amount of impact on your life, other people's lives, and even leaking into the fitness industry, helping other coaches increase their standards. There's so many reasons. I got it from Dr. John DeMartini when I were on a course. I didn't get it on the course, but I got it from listening to one of his podcasts. If you can't write down 100 reasons as to why you're doing something, it's not meaningful. And when you're writing it down, anything that you write down that you're a little bit hesitant about, boom, it's off. It doesn't go down. You have to be so certain on what you put down that it is the truth. And I actually, on my computer now, I will have a few documents with 100 reasons. Like my most recent one was 100 reasons why I should push business. That's the amount of things that I came up with was insane. And it literally goes from, it starts off with how it's going to benefit me, then how it's going to benefit Mel, how it's going to benefit my son that's going to be here, how it's going to benefit my family, my nephews, how it's going to benefit my clients, their family, how it's actually going to, change the standard within the industry. It's just constantly flowing. Skill set that it's going to give me, I'm going to have to obviously embark on a different journey to learn about different subjects for me to do this, which is helping other people. It's a constant effect.
That's the driving force. Outside of your physique, what would you say Helmi Dneni's biggest weakness is?
Weakness outside of physique. Don't know, mate. I mean, oh yeah, I do know. I would say probably like being social, being in social situations, social events. I don't like going into supermarkets. I don't do shopping. I try and stay away from the day-to-day stuff because it's just something that it sounds pathetic, but I freak out when it comes to like stuff like that.
In what way?
I'm not good with just like going in the public net. Like I don't like being in public.
What do you think
And
that stemmed from?
I think it's just because, from the age of whatever when I started training, I've just immersed myself into the gym that I'm thinking it's not like, I get social anxiety or anything like that. It's just I can't stay present and I'm constantly kicking inside my brain and like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I shopping for? What am I doing? I'm just very sure of what I'm good at and what I'm not. So yeah, it's just, and with Mel, if Mel said to me about going shopping, like she said to me last week about going to Sainsbury's, and I'll be honest, that's the first time I've done that in a very long time, and 2 to 3 hours, mate, I was like, Mel, I gotta go.
Oh, oh, panic stations. Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was just like I don't know. I don't feel comfortable in them situations.
If the mountain goat was there, would that have put you at ease, mate? That would have put you at ease. If the mountain goat was there, that would have put you.
Absolutely, mate.
I love it,
Yeah,
mate.
I would say social things, yeah. And then I don't know other things like I don't watch probably same as you. I don't watch the news. I haven't turned the radio on in my car ever. Only watch TV at the weekend. When I say TV, I mean me and Mel watch movies. That's our sort of time together. So I'm very disassociated with what goes on in the world.
What's your genre, bro? What's your genre of movie? Go, hit me with it.
It's actually a funny joke in the house because Mel's like, "Well, what do you want to watch?" The same thing as action thriller, man.
Is it? What's your right? If you like favorite movie of all time, go.
Not that good, Daniel. I watched recently 13 hours, 13 hours in Benghazi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, right.
That's where my dad was born and raised. Quite enjoyed it. But mate, honestly, if there's killings, guns, fast cars, and just gangsters, that's the sort of movies I'm into, mate. Jason
Take you
Bourne shit.
Takes you back to your old days in the West, mate. Love it, bro. Love it. I love it.
Yes.
Uh, what's one piece of advice that you would give to young men of today?
I would say For me, looking back, do not have fear of being that loner. And if you're feeling lonely in life, and your options are between loneliness or be with a bunch of idiots who you don't want to be in life, choose loneliness all day long. Even if you want more balance in life, choose loneliness. But the main thing is that if you're not happy with something in your life, you have to move away from it in order for you to actually find fulfillment. Because there's so many people that stay in this camp. Next thing you know, they have a house, they have a kid on the way, they have a long-term partner, and they live life with so much regrets. So you don't want to be moving away when you're at this stage. You want to be moving away whenever you can. Work through grey spaces and just understand that whenever you feel an immense amount of discomfort in life, you will be rewarded. The only problem is that someone can't guarantee you when that day is or what time it is, but you will be rewarded. So just sit with the discomfort and understand that your payday is coming, bro.
Current, yes, you're gonna cash in someday. I love it, mate. And lastly, brother,
Yeah.
what kind of legacy do you want to leave on the world?
I want people to perceive me as someone who push limits, to push boundaries, and obviously, generically, someone who's had a lot of impact in someone's life, but in a sense that I want people to refer to me as I brought out something in them that they didn't, that they knew it was there, but they couldn't actually, unlock that within themselves, which is the same for me. So I want I want people, and I wrote this on a mission statement. I want guys to be the people that they know they're capable of, but are too scared to take action because of the noise of society.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful.
Yes, brother.
And that's exactly what you do. That is exactly what you emulate. And I appreciate you for that as well, brother. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have taken so much from that today. And, it's never the entire podcast which might change somebody's life, but one snippet, one quote, one insight, that might be enough to, to spark that initial thought of change that that you're built for more. So what's coming up in Helmi Dneni's life going forward? What are you excited about going forward? What's coming up? Well, obviously we've got the wee one en route. What else can we
Yep.
expect from Dneni?
Little one's en route. Currently sort of working through getting a specific motorbike. Going to strap a GoPro to the helmet, make my way to work, and it's going to be unbelievable. So you're going to get some motorbike content. Um, Currently en route to 115 kg of lean mass,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
which I'm documenting obviously on IG, and holidays in it. I
So
would
where
say
you heading? So where are we going this year? Where you heading?
we have obviously Marbella, and then me and Mel need to cook somewhere for summer holiday. Just me and her before we have a kid together.
You're awful.
So
You're awful romantic, brother. And where can people find you?
um, on Instagram, my name is Helmi Dneni. I'll not
Spell.
spell
Don't need you go. I'm not gonna do you like that, bro. Helmi Dneni. So yeah, I'll leave that. I'll leave Helmi's tags down below in the description. But brother, I appreciate you coming on, mate. I appreciate who you are and what you do. You're an absolute legend, and you inspire me every single day, bro. And I'm sure that even just from you speaking your message here, you've done the same for a lot of other guys listening. So, bro, big love.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, mate. Big, big love.